I'm Michael Medlock with Detroit of Oklahoma. Today we're going to do daily checks on a directional drill. Daily checks will be in the operator's manual. The daily checklist should only take you about 5 or 10 minutes. We're going to start by checking the engine oil. We're going to pull the engine dipstick out. We're going to clean it off. We're going to push it back in and lock it all the way in place. Pull it back out, and you want to make sure that it is at the full level. If it's over full, you can do damage to the engine. You can push seals out, build too much oil pressure. If it's too low, you can kill the engine, burn the bearings out of it. A lot of times on a newer engine, you're going to see a little bit of oil usage. By the manufacturer's spec, you are allowed so much usage on a new engine. As that engine gets broke in, you're going to notice that it starts staying at the full level more than using any of the oil. Next, we're going to check the hydraulic fluid. On this one, you want it to be about halfway up the sight glass, and as you can tell, this one's a little bit over full. It could be the way that the drill is actually sitting with the cylinders collapsed versus not collapsed. If it doesn't have enough fluid in it, you can actually overheat the machine if it's low. Next, we're going to check the fuel level. As you can see, the fuel level is 100% here. This blue one right here is going to be your def level. One thing to always remember when filling this def level, turn the machine off before filling the machine with def. It will set a code in the machine controller. It will have to be taken to the engine manufacturer to have that code deleted. If the diesel is low, this is going to be where you fill the diesel tank. Diesel exhaust fluid is going to be located right next to it. The diesel exhaust fluid's important because it actually helps control the emissions out of the exhaust system. The machine will do an actual regen on its own as it's running, where it actually heats up the DPF inside the exhaust and cleans it as you're running the machine. The next thing we're going to check is the mud pump oil. The mud pumps could be located different places on different drills. For instance, this one is located right next to the def tank. Your sight glass is going to be right here on the outside of it, and you want it to be at least halfway up the sight glass. You don't want to see any milky colors. If you see any milky colors in that sight glass, that means that you have gotten contamination or water or something inside the power end of the gearbox. The next thing we're going to check is the Y strainer. This one is set up to where you can take the top cap off of it, and there's actually a screen filter down inside of here that you will want to take out and clean daily. Next thing we're going to check is the air filter. One thing you always want to check is make sure that this valve is always cleaned out. It's the dust regulator valve. It's to keep dust from going, excessive amounts of dust going into the air filter. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this latch up and rotate the cover, pull the cap off. You can see the air filter. One thing you always want to make sure that under the air filter is the safety filter. Once these filters get clogged up and they get dirty, they are non-usable. Throw them away, get rid of them. You can actually suck dust down into the engine if these get too full. If you suck it down into the engine, you can kill the cylinder walls and the engine will lose all of its compression. So on the older models with the air filter, there's going to be a gauge that is going to be located around the air filter somewhere that is a resettable gauge. On the newer models like this one, it's actually going to throw you a code in the cab telling you that the air filter is restricted and that it needs to be replaced. Next thing we're going to do is we're just going to do a visual inspection of the pump area. I'm looking for any kind of hydraulic leaks or anything that would concern me. Always remember not to touch any of the hoses if the machine is running. If the machine is running and you think that you might have a hose blown, use a piece of cardboard to stick it behind the hose to see if you are actually getting a leak. This machine puts out anywhere from about 3,000 PSI to 3,500 PSI, which is enough to inject into your skin if you find an oil leak and the machine is running. Next thing we're going to check out is the fuel water separator. Basically, this will separate out your fuel from the water. You want to drain this daily. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the cap on the bottom and you're going to unscrew it until the fluid actually runs out of it and you can see clear diesel coming out of the bottom of the separator. Once you see clear diesel coming out, you can push it back up and tighten the screw back in there and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to basically do a walk around of the machine, look for any suspected hydraulic leaks that I can find or any damage done to the machine unexpected. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is you want to check the functionality of your machine. Basically, we're going to check to make sure the thrust and the rotation works. Left and right is going to be your rotation. Forward and backwards is going to be your thrust and your pullback. This left-hand joystick is what we call our wrench joystick. If you push it forward, closes the rear wrench. If you pull it backwards, it opens the rear wrench. If you pull it towards you, it closes your front wrench. And if you push it away from you, it will actually open the front wrench. Now all I'm going to do is make sure that all my pipe lifter and grippers functions work. The greaser is actually on the back side of this joystick. All you're doing is you're going to pull that button. It has a timer on it to where it'll only shoot for like 3 seconds. And then it'll quit spraying. The next thing I'm going to check is the emergency stop switch. I always want to make sure that it is working. This one is located next to the right-hand joystick. There's also going to be one on the tether back at the back of the machine. Basically, all you're going to do is just push it and hold it down and make sure that it kills the machine. Next thing we're going to do is check track tension. This one is located halfway in between the ends of the track. You're basically going to pull this cover off here. And there'll be a cap screw underneath here. We're going to remove this cap screw on this machine. Then we're going to screw a gauge onto it. This specific machine, you want to grease the track up to 2,500 PSI. On other machines that do not have a gauge, some of them are measured by deflection of the track, which is about a 1/2 inch deflection. Some of them are measured by a measurement off of track gauges inside the track frame, which you will have to call your servicing dealer to get that measurement. Always make sure that you're wearing your personal protective equipment, your hard hat, your glasses, your gloves, your vest, and steel-toed boots. Always make sure that you do these checks before starting the machine or running the equipment. Make sure that the machine is on the ground and not on the trailer. You always want to make sure that the machine is operating safely before unloading it or loading the machine. Always consult your operator's manual for your specific drill to make sure that you are doing the daily checks that need to be done on your drill.